Hey guys, welcome back. So over the last couple months, we have been filling our beds up. I'm finally going to show you all the things that we've done with that and all the work we put into it. It's been a long, painstaking process because we've had to cut down a lot of overgrown bushes in the front, mostly cotoneaster. We did have some stumps that we pull from the ground that we put into the different garden beds. I'm going to take you along that process. What we were doing is hugelkultur. We're using that hugelkultur method to fill the garden beds to kind of create some space, to save some money, and hopefully try to keep that soil rich and add nutrients to it. Now, what this is going to do is we are putting a base layer of the wood, sticks, trunks, anything like that in the bottom that it's going to break down over time. As it breaks down over time, it's going to add nutritional value to the soil itself. And then on top of that, we're putting a plant material, whether it's weeds, green, leaves, branches, anything like that, that's going to break down a little bit faster. As that breaks down, it's going to help contribute to the breakdown of the stumps in the wood itself. And again, it's going to add a new layer of nutritional value to the soil as it goes through. And then on top of that, we're going to have our topsoil, or our basically our planting material, what we're going to be planting in. Now, in the previous video where I did the hugelkultur method last year in our first garden bed where we planted our garlic, in that specific video, what I ended up doing is amending the soil. So we added a lot of extra stuff to keep it very airy. This time, I'm not going to be doing that specifically. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do our wood-based material, our green material, weeds, whatnot, and then on top of that, I'm going to put a layer of topsoil, and then I'm going to finish it off with just compost. I'm going to go over the whole thing, where I get everything, and show you how I get this done. So, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is remove this giant stump. Now, in our garden bed placement video, we did take everything out of here so we could shift the garden bed. Now it's time to refill it. So we're going to dump our stump right inside. So here's the bed that we moved everything over to. You can see it's pretty full. It's got a lot of wood, a lot of branches in here. So now we're going to start topping it off with just different types of material. We've got some weeds that we pulled, we have some grasses, and we're just going to fill this up with everything that we can to kind of fill in the gaps between the wood with a plant material that will break down and again help the breakdown of the wood. Next up is adding our layer of topsoil. Now, while leveling out the topsoil, we started to notice there were a few peaks in here. And as I dug in to see what was causing it, I noticed that we had some very large stumps. So we need about 8 to 10 inches for each of these plants to root properly into the ground. So what we're going to do is remove those to kind of create a little bit more distance and space inside the bed. Now it's time to fill in the rest of the beds with the sticks, twigs, stumps, and branches that we cut from the south end of the property. The good thing is that we have an abundance of this material to use. Now the downside is it will break down faster than some of the larger stumps and branches that we used in the other beds. So we will have some sinking when this does start to settle and decompose. On top of some of the base wood, we are adding branches that do have their own green material still attached to it, so that'll help in this process.
Oh, that looks like the same thing. It almost looks like buckthorn.
Then on top of that, we're putting our weeds and grasses that we are pulling from our garden beds in the front yard. We have an abundance of that, so that provides us a nice green material directly on top of the wood and branches.
So it's just me and you all by yourself?
Now it's time for our topsoil. We ordered this last year, so it's been occupying our slab for quite a while. The boys have been playing in it pretty regularly, but it's time to start filling in the beds. Now the soil's in, we're going out to Stoney Island in West Bend, and we're going to be picking up our compost. We're going to be topping the beds with organic material. We're using Purple Cow Compost. It is based out of Middleton, Wisconsin, so it's a local company, and it's a fantastic material. We picked up about 2 yards with the hope that we're putting between 4 and 6 inches of the compost directly on top of the topsoil. The compost is light, it is airy, it's full of nutrients, and it should be fantastic for the plants. All right, guys, so everything is in. I think it turned out well. In the end, the 2 yards of compost worked out perfectly. Now, again, that was Purple Cow. I'll leave a link to that company in the description below, as well as the company I got it from. If you have any questions about what I did, why I did certain things, please leave it in the description below or reach out to me and ask. I'm willing to answer any questions, or if you have any suggestions of things I can do to make it better, please do not hesitate to comment or let me know. So, as always, that's going to be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.